Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's look at how we would use the enter into TurboTax for year 2, the payment and interest that we received. So we gonna change our number a little bit. We're gonna assume that we sold the property on May 30th, 2022. And everything still stayed the same, exactly as our previous year 1 example, except that for the payment received, so remember in our previous example, the year 1, we already received 100K. So we just say that 100K was from year 2022. And then for this year, year 2, is we also received another 100K in 2023 year 2. Everything else stayed the same pretty much. And then the interest that we received from this year is also 7,000K. Yeah. So let's go back to TurboTax Premium. And then basically we was going to be from the tax home, right? This is a brand new for year 2 tax return. And then depending on how your TurboTax is, you might see the wages and income on the side. You can access that, but for my version, for some reason I don't see that, but I can access it from down here. So you go to wages and income and go down to the less common income section, and then you're able to see the installment sale. So it's going to go to installment sales, and then you have installment sale. Yes. Description of property, and I'm just gonna enter representing address. The day that we acquired this property is 1/1/2014. The day that we sold it is 5/30/22, and then the selling price is the 800K. Yeah, but this is the trick. Remember that we got the $500,000 primary home exclusion, right? So you would add that here. So the 500 exclusion, the 500K exclusion, plus the 60K adjusted basis before, so that $560,000. So this is the trick. If you don't do this, our number is not going to be displayed correctly, and then you're going to have to pay extra in tax. So the gross profit percentage, it doesn't calculate it for you, but it tells you to go look at last year form 6252, which was the installment sale form. So in our calculation, we know it like 0.3, and it asks us to enter a decimal number, so we do that 0.3, so 30%. The amount of principal paid before 2023, that was 100K that were paid in principal, excluding interest. Was it used for business or rental? No. Stock sold? No. Was it a collectible? No. Was it passive activity? No. You can click on it. What is a passive activity? Limited partnership, like that of fund stock. So no. So this is for 23. So this is year 2, yeah. So the principal payment received in year 2 is also 100K. The interest received is also 7,000. So there are 2 more boxes, and you can check if it was applicable. So the first box is the interest is from a mortgage that I hold on a home that I sold to somebody else who lived in the home as their main resident, which meaning the buyer living in this as their main home. So in our case, so we need to check this box. The interest is from a mortgage I hold on a home sold to somebody, right? So this is the money that you receive for the interest payment because it was installment sale. And then for every year, you're going to have to enter the information. So you always have to do this form 6252 every year until you're able to mark it. This is the final payment that received for the sale during the year. So in our case, it's only year 2. So no, right? And then the buyer name, so I just say Mr. Buyer. Was it sell to related party? No. So the long-term capital gain is 30K. So remember, this is very important. When you put in the cost basis, if you only put 100K that you received last year, you're gonna be paying capital gain tax on about $92,000, which is a huge, big mistake, right? Because that was not correct, because you had that primary home exclusion. So you want to do that, making sure. So click continue, AMT differences. So you have your installment cell here. Click done, and this is our number. Remember, it jumped from 2,500 to 4,200 just for the federal. So look at our income. So our wages is 80K, and then the 30K is from the installment cell, from the principal, right? And then the interest, $7,000, you're gonna have to pay interest tax on the full amount. And then this is just our Schedule C, just some number that we put in there as filler. So basically, if your total income is 127K, and then this is your tax liability. And then not worry too much about this, because this is from the self-employment tax and then the estimated tax payment penalty, which is not really have much to do with the installment cell. So that, and then you can play with the number and see. So this is how you would use TurboTax to enter the installment cell for year 2 and beyond if you did not use TurboTax the year prior. On the other hand, if you want to see how the number works out for you for year 2, 3, whatever you want, you can play the scenario, and then this is how the way that you could enter it, just to play with the scenario. So I hope that was helpful. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.